Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man.
Hey, Disc Golf Answer Man crew. This is Justin from Grenade City, Texas. And I have one quick question.
Grenade City?
I've been working on my release angles, specifically in headwinds and tailwinds, mainly because this time of year the wind is crazy, especially in more open courses. Well, my question is, though, how do I adjust my release angle when I'm throwing rollers? I'm just now learning it, and I realized that I have no way can I have I been able to adjust my release angle to adapt for the wind. Any help will be grateful, and I'll hear from you guys later.
It's a good question.
Yeah, wind is really difficult, and I know how windy it gets in Texas. I'm not sure where Grenade City is.
Me neither. I'd never heard of it.
I tried to look it up, but I didn't see it. Can you look that up, Bobby?
Grenade City where?
Grenade
Tejas.
City, Texas.
But as far as, your release angles in the wind, one thing I stress a lot is you never want to expose the flight plate to the wind.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, if it's a headwind and you're throwing nose up, you're going to have a bad time.
Right.
If it's a right to left, you throw a lot of hyzer on it, so and so on. The key is nice and flat releases in the wind.
Yep.
And the one thing I can't stress enough, a lot of people think that they're throwing into a massive headwind, they think, I got to throw this as hard as I possibly can.
Right.
That's not the case.
Nope.
You want to throw it on a nice hyzer line and about 70 to 80% even, just nice smooth throws through the wind. You don't really want to throw everything as super hard. That's typically when you're going to get more lift, more flip, and you just never know where that disc is going to go.
Mm-hmm. When you're talking about rollers are really fickle. Sometimes it looks like you've just laid down the best angle and maybe you hit a rock or a stick or maybe it just gets a bad bounce and there's not much you can do about that. What I would do if I were you and you were working on those rollers is get to where you could assign like a degree to what your intended angle of release is. So if it's like 45 degrees or whatever it is, if you're calling, however you want to do it. I like letting go of the disc at about 10 or 11 o'clock for me. 10:30, whatever you want to call it. And then just letting the disc turn on its own. I like doing that as opposed to forcing the roller over. When it comes to the wind, if you are throwing a roller in a left to right wind, if you're a backhand right-handed player and you're throwing a roller into a left to right crosswind, that's going to kind of push the bottom out as the disc flies. So it's going to allow it to fly a little or roll a little bit farther normally because it kind of it wants to keep it on that good angle. Mm-hmm. If it's the opposite wind, if you're a right-hand backhand throwing that style of roller and it's a right-hand crosswind, it wants to kick the bottom of the disc toward the underside, and that makes it want to wash out earlier to the right. So with headwinds, you just need to adjust your angle of release. So if you're normally, like I said, 10:30, maybe you adjust to 9:30 with the same disc, but your idea is to hit the same angle every time. That's what you want to try to do.
I would also suggest not throwing a roller when you've got a lot of wind.
Super wind.
Like if it's above 20 mile an hour, I wouldn't even bust out the roller unless it's like a nice tailwind or something like that. But it's just there's too many variables that can make that go bad.
Yep.